Hello, thank you for being with us in the new Life Educational Series with Dr. Michael Laitman. Hello, Dr. Laitman. Hello, everyone. Hello, Nitza Mazuz. And today we want to continue to learn from Rav Laitman how to be one family, how to build our lives here in Israel, to reform out our lives instead of each feeling each in our little corner with the people around us, and that's it. And that everyone else is some stranger, it's conflict everywhere you go, that everyone wants to trample you. We want to reformat this situation and build a new society here that will be a symbol for all of humanity. A society where everyone will feel that everyone around him is his family. They're concerned with him, they're embracing him, they're warm to him and open to him. That's our goal. And in order to understand what it means to live as one family, we want to look at our ancient Jewish culture and find all kinds of symbols and motives in it that have been there for thousands of years that we never really understood what they meant, how they're connected to us, what kind of connections we have to build, and how to learn from them, how to implement between us this vision of all of us being one family. Today we want to focus on this book. I brought it with me, not a big book, but a very significant book, Tehillim. Be with us. There will be a lot to feel and take with you to life. Nitza, give us your opening remarks. This book has escorted Israel throughout all generations, all its history. It gave people lots of consolence and thanks on good days and consolence on bad days. We feel this book close to us. We keep it close to us in our pocket next to the bed. The book of Psalms. We all agree about it, that we read it, where we read a psalm, or we feel it goes straight into our heart. Even if we don't understand, there's a very strong emotion that it awakens. So maybe the first question is, the book of Psalms, what is so special about it, Tehillim, that it goes straight into our heart? That's not a simple mission. The foundation of Israel is from the father of the nation, Abraham, that connected his group. The people that came out of Babylon, that joined him, that didn't want to be like all the other Babylonians, to deal with only the material life, but rather they understood that the goal, a person's goal, is to be similar to the general force of nature, that Abraham discovered that it's all one. It's written about him that he went out at night and saw the stars and began to think, how does all this work? And discovered that it's one force, not statues, that we need to bow down to all kinds of forces and all kinds of events that happen in the world from the side of nature. But above that, there is one force, one system, one general system that we exist in, and we're activated by one program, which is called God, the general nature, the desire that works in all of nature. And today we're precisely discovering this, even through normal research, biology, physics. It's also being revealed in general, even by us researching human society, how much we're connected, how much we've begun to be global. And Abraham was the first to discover this. And that's why he's called the father of the nation, because that group that he put together from people, those people felt that they really belonged to the entire world, to one system, to that same single system that's managing everything. And that's why they broke all the statues, apparently all the other values, apart from one high value, to be connected together in accordance with the system of nature, and in that to connect themselves to the general force of nature that runs everything. And the fact that we discovered today in this great crisis, and it's expanding, it's to show us that we're not matching that same system, that same upper force, single force that's operating on us. And us, precisely, the human species, we have to find a connection. We have to match it. We have to be connected together. That's why our entire Torah is to transform our evil, individualistic, egoistic inclination, hating our fellow man, to love of our fellow man, to connection. And in this manner, our nature started to learn from Abraham this whole method, how to discover the world, and how to correct ourselves, and how to match ourselves to the true system, to the true world. In other words, all of Judaism is about discovering the connection between us, the mutual connection, to be connected as one man with one heart. All of Israel are friends. Love of brothers, to rise above our hatred, above the Mount Sinai. To the extent that I get closer to this single force, it operates on us in return and then corrects us. It means there's a teruta delatata from below, from us, to that same lofty situation, and then in accordance with that, it's as if we are influenced from above by this force to the extent that we get closer in our inclinations to it, and then it's called that we've received the light that redeems us. This light operates on us and truly cleans us from our ego and makes us more integral, more connected. And this is how we developed until we reached a state that from our connection, that same group that became a people, a group that's managed by that same upper force, by that same system of one of us, of all of us together, we reached a state where we discovered between us David, King David. In other words, he was a great Kabbalist. He was a person that discovered all of Israel, and that's why he's called a king. Not because he controlled everyone, but precisely because he serves everyone. He's raising everyone up. He's directing everyone toward the connection. And when he discovered this entire system from the point of view of Israel, everything that Israel has to go through in its corrections of its mutual ego, dividing it, to transform it, those bad forces, conflicting opposite forces, that we will transform them to good. When he went through this entire process in the revelation of the evil inclination and in its correction to reach the good force, he wrote things to the upper force, also about the evil inclination in him, what he needs to do, and also from the good force in him. Because to the extent that he's desiring to get closer to nature, even though he doesn't have forces, but he wants it to happen, in that he's inviting upon himself the light that redeems us, that corrects his ego, the bad force. I created the evil inclination and a spice. It's that same force that comes. If I want to connect, if I want to realize love of others, if I want to reach love thy neighbor as thyself, which is the greatest law in the Torah, and in that manner, he put it together, Tehillim. That's why the book of Psalms, that's why it includes all kinds of situations that a person could go through, anyone, and all of us together, in all kinds of situations. In 150 songs that he wrote in this book, we can find ourselves always, in each and every song, or poem, we can find ourselves and we really feel that it touches our heart. It touches our soul. And it has nothing to do with if he's religious or secular, understands, doesn't understand, he's in the field, or he still doesn't understand anything. He has some point from which he belongs to some general system, to the upper force which determines his destiny and his process in life. So actually, every song from the book of Psalms awakens in him some connection. Therefore, these songs are so special. It's sort of an inner special program that connects us to nature, to the upper force that manages us. And if we read it and we want from within us to be in that same process that King David went through, then we reach a force that is pulling us toward that same upper situations, lofty situations, where we reach love of others. This force is part of that pulling force that advances us, that's called the Mashiach, pulling us, that's called the Messiah, the Son of David. And that's why we see that the book of Psalms is so special, and that in all our situations, it really saves us. If I have some reason, and even if I don't have a reason, even if I'm just in a neutral situation, not here, not there, I don't have anything missing, and I don't have anything that I want to give thanks for, but just in general, I just open it and begin to read, I already feel that something's awakening in me, because I'm in that system. I'm a part of that system. And then in these words, there's always some reaction from my heart to connect with the upper force, meaning with the general system that I belong to. Therefore, this book, from the start, belonged to the Levites that would sing it in the Beit HaMikdash. There's songs for every day. There's songs for special holidays. They would sing it in the temple. We find in it something that belongs to each and every situation. But even without that, if a person takes it as something that directs him on the path, then of course it's always the correct path. And the Levites that used to sing it, they used to bless the entire nation to be one system. The temple was actually that same place where we're all connected. It's a vessel, it's a desire, one general desire. It's a total of our hearts. It's not rocks, it's our hearts that are connected together or want to be connected. Therefore, they come to the temple and we raise up sacrifices. Sacrifices meaning that I sacrifice my ego, the creature part of me, the inanimate, animate, that I sacrifice to rise above it and raise the person in me, to build the person in me. Because at the beginning we're wild creatures, we have evil inclination only. If we build from ourselves above our evil inclination, we transform it a bit to the good inclination, that part is called the human part of us, and that's how we grow. Whoever transforms his evil inclination to good inclination is called growing. He's making himself a man of himself. And the Levites, who would bring the sacrifices, who would sacrifice It's people who want to get closer. They're sacrificing their ego, the animate part, inanimate. It's altogether our ego. And instead of that, they want to buy something from man, something that's connected to the general force, the general system of love, because it's the realization of all our work in the temple, to be in love, to be as one vessel, the entire nation. And that's why they use the book of Psalms. So sacrifice for getting closer, sacrificing the ego to get closer, to connect. I want to transfer my ego to become closer, to transform the bad force in me to a good force. And the more that of this bad force that's discovered, it's actually pushing me to correct it and make a good force out of it. Like they said about Pharaoh, he got close through Israel to the force. The evil inclination that's revealed obligates you to do something with it. Like we see now in our crisis. The goal of this crisis, of all these issues that we're going through, is to obligate us to make a correction out of it. And that's why the faster we understand it, and not that we block ourselves from the revelation of the bad, but we'll understand what it's being revealed for, the purposefulness of it, then we will advance faster to good, to connection and realizing the goal of creation. And then the book of Tehillim, the more that we advance, we see in those same songs, also from the side of problems and also from the side of thankfulness, that these are things that we need to give thanks for. Even though there's verbs that are very tough in there, that people are going through situations that they're torn, it's as if those hating him, those evil desires coming to him and controlling him, and they pull him to all kinds of directions, bad directions, and he can't overcome them, and he screams and he cries because he wants to correct them. Still, he thanks, he glorifies the Creator, that this is bringing him closer. It's already upper awareness that there is no bad force in the world, and any bad that is revealed, it depends on us how we quickly transfer it to the good side. Because to reach good, to reach love, we don't have any forces. We just need our bad to transfer to good. To take our bad with the light that redeems us, that's called, it redeems us to good. That's called Chazara b'tshuva. That's called being a person, building a cave, building a person that's similar to the Creator, that's similar to bestowal. And that's the book of Psalms. And now each person, there's certain ones that you read on certain days. There's some for Shabbat. There's some specially that you read. And circumcision, a wedding, all kinds of events. There's some that people just like to read. There's lots of songs that are written based on the Tehillim. What's so special about this book compared to the other holy books that we have? No book explains the connection of a person to the correction, to the general system, to the upper force, to belonging to the nation of Israel, like the Psalms. It's something that's written from the depths of the heart, from the depths of the heart. And that's what King David, he knew how to implement it, and that's why he's called the King of Israel, Malchut. The greatest depth that's revealed in a person And that's why he's the only person that could write it.
לכל אחד אני חושב שהוא מתעניין בספר הזה, הוא מוצא לעצמו.
Everybody finds in this book something for himself, some songs or special sentences that he feels close to them, that he thinks that they help him, they support, they strengthen him, they warm him. Is there a special manner in which you can read this book? Like this. You open it and you read it, wherever it opens up. If a person doesn't know, I like, for example, Lemenatzeach B'nei Korach. That's the first one. There's special ones. There's some that are more well-known, less well-known. Some they made into songs. Some are used for all kinds of creations. It's a special force that no one in the world denies this book. In all our other creations, there's a criticism. Here there's no criticism. This is the holiest of the holiest. Is there a way in which we can read in this book with some kind of intention to really feel more as a society, I mean, not just as an individual, a private person? Normally when we take this book in our hand, it's because we have some kind of difficulty or we need help in a private manner. Is there an ability to read in this book in a more social manner, more general manner? There it says, I don't want to criticize people, but I see people that just read it. They read the part of that day, then they finish every Sabbath. By the Sabbath, they finish the whole book. But it's possible that a person's not capable of that, and he doesn't have strength to do that or a reason, and he doesn't want to just read it for nothing. So those people that don't have a habit of reading but want to relate to it from their heart, then they need to choose from this whole book some certain phrases or entire songs that suit them and go over them a few times a day and see in that something. Apart from that, our prayers, most of them are built from the songs in this book. All the songs, a lot of things, it comes from here. Gratifying, the holidays. It's because this book presents a person's entire attitude to the nation of Israel, because it comes from Malchut, King David, who is he's the one holding the whole nation. He's talking for everyone, and straight up from the whole nation to the upper force that discovers it in general, in the general system of this nation, of the general nature. Nitza mentioned the Israeli society and the use that maybe we can use this book to give us strength that will connect us, that will glue us, that will rise us above all this hatred and division to a place that you said before, the assembly of Israel, gathering, love between us. And it looks like a question about that same King David. It's always written in this book. King David doesn't have any quiet moment. He's always fighting, fighting, fighting. That symbolizes our work. Why is he always in wars, King David? It's against the evil inclination. We have to fight. And if he's Malchut, if he symbolizes the entire nation, then he's actually he has to go through all these issues and problems and raise them up to the upper force. He has to connect them together. You said before he has all kinds of haters and they're running after him. They're chasing him. He feels that these inner forces are ripping him up, that his evil inclination is ripping him up inside, and he's screaming and crying. But don't talk about it as if it comes from inside. He says, they're closing in on me, they're pressuring me. It's like coming from outside. That's how he speaks, but it's actually from inside. So explain this inside part to me. Can you expand it a bit? It's very interesting. The thing is not physically that they're coming from inside or outside, but if a person that wants to connect to a general system, to all of Israel, and even to the entire world, because King David is not just for Israel, he's also the future of Israel. From him, the upper force will grow and that will connect everyone in general. All the Goyim run to him, all the Gentiles, everyone will know me from great to small, because it will call to all the nations. Everyone will read the book of Psalms at the end of the day. Everyone will reach their inner strength, their general system, because we're all in it. So we're all obligated to realize ourselves for the sake of the general connection. That's why until now we were special in our suffering and in exile. No other nation has exile, just us. And in the last period, since we came back from Zion, we're gradually discovering that the entire world has gone into this feeling that they're like in a feeling of exile. They don't know how to control themselves. They don't understand where they are. They feel that the problems are growing, that nature is closing in on us from the outside, blows, climatic ecology, health. We can't organize the world properly. We see how much we're not capable, how much our ego is destroying us and not allowing us to connect. It's not allowing us to advance, to determine anything good. It's really a wonder when you see what's happening in the world, that if people would connect, they would finish with this whole hunger and unemployment and lack of hope and disease and terror and wars. And they would also balance nature, that we're only destroying everything and not leaving anything for our kids or grandchildren. We're taking all the resources out of the ground, and what will be left for the next generations? And we can't stop ourselves. We just can't. Look what's happening with our education, what we give kids. Who's enjoying the world? Kids that come to school, what are they enjoying? They're always in conflict. We're already used to it. It's as if we've blocked ourselves off, our hearts. And then when we see there's already lots of research, and even without research, there's all kinds of wise people. They understand it's us, it's our ego. What are we going to do? And still, people don't agree that there's nothing to do. So here comes the method of Israel that says, no, I created an even inclination, but there's something else called the spice of Torah, which is the light that redeems us to good. Meaning that we need to attract this light. How do we attract the light? If we connect as much as possible with all kinds of workshops, all kinds of connections between us, events, television programs, internet programs, that we begin to feel that we belong to connection to one system as one single global world. Let's connect properly in a global manner. Should we connect? Yes, but we need light. We have a connection between us, but there's all kinds of conflicts inside. How can we turn it into a good togetherness? I'm tired of this world. And here we need that same system that brings us the upper force, called the light that redeems us, to connect between us, instead of the bad connection. So we'll have a mutual connection. That is actually what we need to carry out. That's the integral education that we are revealing to the people of Israel. That's the Torah. What's the Torah? That you begin to try to connect with love of others, love of thy fellow man as much as possible. Just like you have conditions to receive this light, to be one man with one heart, to obligate yourself that you want to reach love thy neighbor as thyself, to be in mutual responsibility for one another, that we're all connected to one another. And when you begin to think in this matter about the people, and you hear from everyone that that's how we truly need to behave, because you hear it from everyone, that's called the integral education. We need to be connected, simply. And to the extent that we are gravitated toward there and we do acts, we advance. Like kids playing with some game, they want to succeed, but they don't succeed, but they want to. Against that effort, you deserve the light that redeems you. You won't succeed, but you should make an effort and hope that the light that redeems us will come. Just like a kid wants to be big, get a bigger brain, this is precisely how we anticipate in our initiatives that the light will come and connect between us, that will give us a new heart and a new mind. How do I connect to that? When I organize the chibur. Take the book of Psalms, start to read. Bring from there a few verses. You don't need a lot. Whatever touches your heart. Not only to individuals, like the nation and King David. Then we're all, and then in our effort we will understand the systems where they exist. Through the integral education, it includes, and then we'll understand what this global world is, what the system is, how are we all connected to this global system from the side of the heart. If we act slightly, then we'll already be in the same system that's called God or nature, and then we'll reach a light that will correct us. And then we will be being raised just like kids. It's the same force that we raise little kids with. Little kids have an instinctive manner from themselves, an instinctive desire to be big, but we don't. We have to awaken ourselves to be the big ones, to be connected. Nitsa. While you were explaining, I asked myself, the book of Psalms for me represents my connection with God on condition that, on condition that the result of attaining what this book is intended to give you, only the connection between us. Because the entire Torah is to reach love thy neighbor as thyself. It's a law. It's the general condition that we have to be in this direction. If I am in this direction, then I use the book of Psalms and it really helps me. If I am in this law, then I organize myself in the society that desires to realize love of others. And then the book that we use brings us the light that redeems us. There's other books that can awaken us, but this is the most general. This is really songs from the heart. It's a demand, it's a request. You're saying song from the heart. I want to read out a very famous song, Shir Lama'alot. Where will my help come from? From God who makes the skies. A lot of the songs is about singing upward, that you want to go upward in the steps, that you want to go up higher and higher and be more similar to God, to the force of love, the force of connection, the single force, that everyone is connecting as one against this one force. So the more that we connect, that's called Shir Ma'alot, that I want to rise up to that single force. I direct my eyes toward there. That's what I'm yearning for. Where will I get my help from? Where does help come from? From that same single upper force that I'm yearning to reach. And from where? From that same force that makes the heavens and the earth. Also an upper force that connects everyone, and also the force that separates everyone, makes the land, or my desire, this land desire. It's also this and also this. In order to raise myself according to my request, from the land to the skies. That's the Shir Ma'alot. That's the ladder that will take us to the skies, the Jacob's ladder. That's what I need. If I direct myself like this, if I understand what I'm reaching, that's what we need to teach. Also ourselves and everyone. Then, for me, it becomes truly a song of rising up in the steps. The song goes on. Don't let your feet. A person guarding Israel will not sleep. From the word spies, that I'm always spying on my evil inclination. What's bad? What's good in the world? Why is it like this? Why is it like that? I criticize. I always want to profit in an egoistic manner. And against my desire that is always increasing, against it I'm rising it when I raise this bad desire to a good one, and in that I'm building the ladder, the stairs. Give me an example from everyday life. Yesterday I had evil inclination. I hated my fellow man. That's what evil inclination is. I rejected everyone. I criticized all those jealousy, pride, all those things toward others, toward my fellow man. Yesterday I had this general rejection. Let's say 1 kilogram. The force is weighed in kilos. I corrected it. What does that mean? I went with everyone to connect, and I heard from them, and I read in the books how good it is to connect. I tried to connect with them. I tried through that to be similar to the connection I asked. I tried to do something with everyone as the Assembly of Israel. It's a term of Malchut, that Malchut, the place where we connect, the general soul, our general soul is called the Assembly of Israel, that gathers all our desires to connect to the connection. Israel is called Yashar Kel, that we want to be similar to that same loving, bestowing force, and if we want it, we are called Israel. We have many other desires that do not belong to Israel. They belong to the nations of the world. Wait, I'm a bit lost. We were on some frequency yesterday. Awakened in me some rejection, hatred, criticism. Tanitza. Yes, say 1 kilo. Sometimes I have more than a kilo, but let's say 1 kilo. You overcame it, and you made up with her. Let's say before he overcame it, he discovered hatred. So first of all, he goes to his friend, or also with his wife he could do it, and he begins to try to be as one man with one heart. But I hate her with 1 kilo. But you know that you have to play. So this is where the help comes from. He understands that there's spies here. Spies are criticism. He knows he's criticizing, and because he's criticizing, he can't connect. Wait, I don't understand. What am I criticizing? What spies? Wait, I hate with 1 kilo. I hate with 1 kilo. I hate her with Nitsa. I feel hatred. I don't want to connect. Yes. I feel rejection. It can be from the most simplest things, great things, small things, it doesn't matter. First of all, I need to understand. And it's only by my being in this general atmosphere that I understand that this hatred, this rejection comes to advance me to good, that it's the bad force acting in me. It comes to me from above. That it's the beginning of the sentence I created, the evil inclination. The Creator created it and discovers it in you. The fact that you have to advance in this general system and be connected, then you discover this rejection, and then you understand that it's not yours, that it's discovered, that it's revealed in you. Meaning there's you and there's the rejection. It's two separate things in you. One time you look through the rejection and you hate her and everything. The next time you look from your side and you say, no, it's a strange force, a foreign force. I can't overcome it. And sometimes it controls me. Sometimes I control it, that I understand that it's a foreign force and I hold it. Now, what do I need to do? How do I need to arrange myself so that this foreign force will be under my control? Not that I'll get all heated up and hate it and everything, but the person in me that criticizes this will disappear. No, I need my criticism, this foreign force, I need to feel that it's foreign and not that it's me. That I'll criticize myself from the side. I'll be like my own psychologist. How do I do this? That I, like a person, cover this bad force and I say, yes, I have this thing that's acting against the connection between us. And this bad that is revealed in me from the general system. It's not me. It's this bad is coming because I created evil inclination, meaning the Creator says that I created in you evil inclination. How do I reach this perception if I'm in this society that is entirely aware of it, that influences me, this general opinion, that holds me to it? Don't lose the correct direction. You need to understand that you're in a system that manages you. That's called the world, the society, the nation of Israel. And then don't lose yourself that there's just some bad force like a little kid. No, you're a person that's getting strength, and you need to leave the bad inside, close it inside, even though sometimes it overcomes you. But at times when you control this bad and you understand that it comes to you from above in a purposeful manner because it says, I created evil inclination. For what? Because now that you feel it as a foreign force, you need the Torah against it. And then you'll feel it on the condition that you feel something that's made up of those two perceptions. Only those two things will bring you for the the need for the tavlin, the light, the Torah that comes, that you request, that you demand, through that same environment that helped you, through that same book of Psalms, that connection that you're asking for, that you know, with my bad I can't do anything. This evil is controlling us. We can feel ourselves lifting our hands up. It's already good. We're advancing toward the right conclusion that this evil nature is above us. Now the question is how we will be above this evil force with the light that redeems us. Now I need to pull toward me the upper force that will transform this bad to good. Because Pharaoh, the bad, is the backside of God. There's nothing good in me, but I have to transform this bad to good, the power of hatred to the power of love. And then, to the same extent that is revealed in me hatred, if light comes to the same extent, then I rise up to the same height. That's why it's called Shira Ma'alot, rising upward, because I rise up to match myself to the general force, God. And I be as God, through good and through bad. Because from the side that I attain good, bestow a love, then I understand what I had, why they made me feel so bad. So from that, I would feel the good. And between the good and bad, between these two opposite things, I begin to understand and feel all of reality. That below me is the great ego, the Mount Sinai of hatred. And above it is me, Moses, that is in touch with the upper force. The song goes on, God is your protector, He's on your right hand, the sun and the moon at night. God will protect you from all bad, will protect your soul. God will protect your coming and going from now to eternity. That at the end of the day, whatever you go through, He determines everything and wants you, from what's happening to you, to understand and learn Him. From your deeds, the upper force wants you to control the entire system of connection between everyone, all of humanity, that you will understand what's happening. Why do we need it? Because through this, you begin to reach the general force, the general program of all of reality. In that, you begin to know God, what's called nature. Therefore, also from the side of the bad and also from the side of good, you need to know this entire system, and you're going out of the good to bad and coming from bad to good. Those are descents and ascents, different situations, darkness, light, and from that you learn how to recognize God, how to know God. I want to take everything you explained now, and I want to try to translate it into a simple manner to see if I understood it. How to use this book correctly. This rejection awakened. No. Okay, so correct me. It doesn't start from there. So how? It starts from the fact that we explain to a group or to the entire nation that we have before us a goal. The goal is to attain the general force of all of nature. Whether we want to or not, we have to get closer to it, to this goal. It doesn't depend on us. It's the general program of nature. We see this program, how it's working now each and every day. It's clear to us from what's happening in the world. In order to realize, implement this process in a good, pleasant manner, which is preferable, instead of continuing with the blows, we need to do acts like little kids. We need to try to play this game, even though we don't get it. because it's always that way. We always try, and then we get brains and feelings. We try to do something like kids, and then we understand it. Therefore, first and foremost, we need to try to make a system between us where we connect together. We connect. We want this connection to happen between us, to be revealed. So we begin as if we're connecting between us in good relations. In small groups, that's called workshops, all kinds of events. From us trying to do that, from trying, we reach a feeling how much we don't want to. If I try and discover the opposite, that's called I created the evil inclination. And it's not possible to have evil inclination if he's not attracted to good. So it's just the usual natural forces in everyone. Then we discover the bad that doesn't allow us to connect. That's called the bad. And then we require connection, this force above the evil to connect above it. Then we need the light that redeems us. And then we connect together in order to attract this light that redeems us. We give our vote, we give support to one another. We try with all our might. And then through all kinds of means, like Tehillim or all other writings, we get into a connection. That's why we got the Torah. It's still something that's written, that's spoken about the upper stage, about a more upper situation. And then when I am with people and I want to connect with them, and I want to raise myself toward them, toward connection, and I use the correct books, the correct sources that speak about the higher stage. What's it talking about? It's talking about a more upper situation, a higher situation. Through all these means, I attract myself force from the upper stage, and then it activates, it operates on me and raises me up. And from the upper force, I'm always raising myself higher and higher in these steps. That's Shira Ma'alot. That's why it's called rising up in love. What happens emotionally inside me after I feel this rejection from others, toward others? I open the Tehillim, like you said, wherever you want to, and I want to have the power to love. I want to have the strength to love. Then you're attracting this force. What does it do in my heart? What's happening with me emotionally in my heart? I feel that I hate everyone, and I want to love, but I hate. So what happens now? You're not responsible for hating. You can't do anything. It's a feeling that awakens in you. You're not guilty of it. It's not your fault. Now you have to do acts to the extent that you're capable of carrying them out, that they will allow you to from this entire system. According to how you relate to the system relates to you. Now you have to do all kinds of acts to connect. And then the force in the system will act on you. It will act on you. That evil force will transform into a good force. And what do I feel in my heart? You'll feel that you love. That all the bad that was revealed, it was only so that you would transform it to good. You feel love. You feel connection. You feel justification for all the bad that happened to you, that without this bad, you wouldn't have reached good. About this justification, when you open Tehillim, the book of Psalms, and when you're sad or when you're in a broken state, you always feel that it's as if you brought some force that consoles you, that strengthens you. It picks you up. It depends what preparation you had. I mean, lots of times people They look at it like protection, this book. Don't leave, don't abandon me, my Lord. There's no one that won't say that Tehillim doesn't give some kind of... Where does that come from? It comes from that light. Why does the whole world respect it? Because they feel that it has some upper force that's working against their desire in their heart, even if I don't know what kind of trouble I'm in, God forbid. It doesn't matter what. And each and every person, when he reads it, there's no person that his desires aren't here and get some kind of answer. But it depends what power, it depends what he means. If we want to advance properly, we have to organize ourselves in a system of support. This inner knowledge in our heart, our minds, in such a manner that the light that comes, it won't just make me feel good, or calm, serene. It will raise me up. It will give me a new desire in my heart, a new thought. That same David, was he a happy or sad person? I'm always asking myself. He was a very happy person, at the peak of happiness, because he justified everything that came to him. But the whole book, he's crying half the book, more than half the book. So what does that mean? He was always at the height of happiness. What is the height? Because a person that verifies all the bad that comes, he can discover it only by, first of all, having the good forces. I can't discover bad more than some small badness that's revealed here in this world. Some little events, even though they're very sad and very harsh, but these forces I cannot reveal if I'm not connected with the Creator first. If I'm not connected with the society, with the environment. And then I see in this general system, what does it mean that the haters come to me and are doing this to me? He discovers this because he's at a level of Malchut. He's at a high level. He's an awareness of the system of the upper force. He's not just crying like us little creatures. What's he crying about? He's crying only about connection. He's crying, when will the time come that this upper force will influence me to such an extent that I will, from my entire heart, will be able to be like the upper force. That means that he'll be in general love, complete love with all the souls. Then truly Malchut ben David will be Malchut for the whole world. You mentioned before the Messiah, the son of David. What is the Messiah? That Moshech, he's pulling us each time. It's a force that pulls us. At every stage we have something about the Messiah that's pulling us. That same upper light that's pulling us from a smaller degree to a higher degree. But it's after all of us connect together. And all of us are pulling ourselves from all the stages. And we're already at the height, at the peak. We connect between us mutually. I'm part of the whole world, from all the other desires and souls, and love toward them. You the same thing, he the same thing. And that's how it is with each and every one of us. And then there's a connection between this whole corrected attitude to everyone, to this single force. That's called the Gula. That's called redemption, the full redemption from our ego that was controlling us. And this sign that there's another force that connects us together, all of us already, and that we are all of us corrected and we're all connected together at the height of the correction, is called the Messiah. So in other words, but this force also works in each and every situation, at all the degrees, at all the stages. So we actually, as people, as a society, only if we actually are in a state of a desire to want to connect properly, then only we discover the evil inclination and the good inclination. And then I'm being pulled. Therefore, from the beginning, from Matan Torah, when they gave the Torah, we were asked, do you want to reach love thy neighbor as thyself and to be as brothers, connected? Don't do it to your friend and you wouldn't want done unto yourself. In mutual responsibility as one man with one heart, etc. All the signs of unity. We almost reached the end. One last sentence about the book of Psalms. Let's hope that we get through all these stages, each one of us individually, like King David went through, and reach the general soul and reach the perfect connection. And the book of Psalms will be the light that will, like the great lights of love and connection, will be revealed in us. Not the words and not the symbols and not the songs, but rather the song from knowing this general love, from becoming aware of this general love. Thank you, Rav Laitman. Thank you, Nitza. Thank you for being with us. Let's sing together. New life. All the best. So long.